Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
A proven winner on the hockey rink, Joe Wolf knows what it takes to be the best. That's why he has the best rates in the area and only has rave reviews of his work with Wolf Power Washing. Get that siding back to its original color with Joe. Call him at 314-420-5434. That's 314-420-5434.
Hi guys, this is Erica Weston with
Valley Sports West.
And you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
I'm here for it. I'm here for all the hot takes.
I totally see Hoffman putting up 30, 35 goals
in a 56 game season?
Yeah.
You know, Jeff, you were saying you didn't think he was going to score 20 goals next season.
I still think
that's a possible.
I mean, I will literally be happy to grab a live crow and eat it if Tarasenko comes back and scores 30, 40 goals in the NHL in a season.
With a last name like Bolduc, he's not going to play for us. There's just something about that last name is not going to make the NHL on this team. And for the Blues, I just don't see it happening. It seems like a name that is not conducive to play in the NHL.
Kurt Price is already making his claim that Zach Bolduc will never wear a Blues jersey in a regular season game.
No.
And starting on defense, from St. Charles, Missouri, number 94, Jeff Ponder.
This is Let's Go Blues Radio, the original and longest-running blues hockey podcast. You are listening to the Scott Young episode, which, of course, is episode 48 of Season 13 and the 479th episode all-time. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by Mike Burgoyne of Real Brokerage Realty. Contact Mike at strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and get started selling your current home or buying a new home today. And to buy Wolf Power Washing. If you're in the St. Louis area and need the services of a professional power washer, Joe Wolf is your guy. Call him at 314-420-5434 and get the best prices in the area. On today's show, I'm joined by content creator and beer league Tendy, Callie Spaulding. You might know her on Instagram and TikTok and all the socials, really, as Teeny Tendy. She's played, she's playing beer league in Phoenix, has played in Dallas and across the California area. She is kind of like a beer league beauty, if you know who that is. She's the one that's kind of the first female that kind of used, her beauty, clearly, beer league beauty, and the fact that she plays hockey. Same here with Callie Spaulding. She's just a beautiful woman who has taken up hockey as an adult, and she's a goalie. So it's I love that name, Teeny Tendy. So we talked to Callie just about her just hockey fandom, playing hockey in beer league, and balancing that with her life and all the fun stuff that comes with being a content creator on social media. So this is a fun interview. Look forward to getting this out to you. We also play a fun game at the end, which I've been trying to do with all of our guests this summer. Not always time for it, but we play a fun game at the end that I think you'll all enjoy as well. So before we get into speaking with Callie, we would be a horrible Blues show if we didn't mention the Prospect Showcase that's going on this weekend over at Se13 Community Ice Center. I am recording this part of the show right now on Friday, so I'm planning on going to the Blues and Blackhawks game tonight. So next week I'll have an update on that. Maybe follow me on socials if you're that interested. But yeah, I plan on going Friday night, Blues Blackhawks tonight at 7 o'clock. So look forward to checking that out with my son. By the time this airs, though, which will be Saturday, the remaining schedule for the events will be 6 p.m. Saturday. Blackhawks and Wild will play each other. And then on Sunday, a full day of action, 8:30 a.m., the Wild Prospects practice at the USA rink. At 9:30 a.m., the Blues Prospects practice at the NHL rink. And then at 3, Blues and Wild will face off at the USA rink there at Se13 Community Ice Center. So if you're looking to get some hockey action before preseason even starts and training camp, check it out. And I think this is a really cool event. Again, I haven't been to it yet. I will be there, especially hopefully tonight, but even more I'm hoping on Sunday as well. Can on Saturday. It's really cool that the prospects are here. Again, we've talked about it before. They used to go up to Michigan. I think last year they were in Minnesota. So now this year they're actually having it in St. Louis, which is really cool because I always used to say it'd be really cool to go up to Traverse City. I said it right that time. And check out the Blues prospects. So now that they're here, now you got to go to it. Very cool. And they're real games, too. Like, these are actual games they're playing. It's not just a scrimmage with, no refs or anything. Like, these are real games they're playing. I mean, they don't count for anything, but these guys, it counts to them because they're trying to get a spot and prove that a lot of these guys are trying to prove that they can make the NHL roster. For the Blues prospects, the standouts would be Zach Bolduc, Zach Dean, guys we saw last year. Dalibor Dvorsky is playing in it. Marc-Andre Gaudette, Will Cranley in net. Plenty of names out there that you'll see that have been names that the Blues have been talking about and pushing. So definitely, if you have time this weekend, get out there. It is all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So make sure if you've not been out there yet, you find time to get out there. And I think if this thing does well, which it will, we're a hockey city here in St. Louis, this is something we might see down the line again, too. I think that the Blues know that there is money to be made here with concessions, with people even maybe going to the casino afterward. There's pushback whenever there's stuff like this, and I definitely think the Blues know there's money to be made with this. So should be awesome, fun weekend here in St. Louis, especially there in Maryland Heights for the Se13 Community Ice Center. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we will talk with Teeny Tendy, Callie Spaulding. You are listening to Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead, shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway.
Curtis Joseph got the paddle down!
Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer.
Flip past the Hall, he shoots, he scores!
See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
Well, honey, I just priced the power washing for the house, and I think we should just move and condemn this place. It'll be cheaper.
Did you try Wolf Power Washing?
Who?
Oh, I just saw this guy win the Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament and thought he was attractive, so I looked him up on social media, and it turns out he's the owner and proprietor of Wolf Power Washing. He claims he has the best prices in town.
But does he use non-flammable, non-toxic chemicals that are safe for Wolfie and our son, Little Magnus?
Yes, he ensures there'll be no residue left behind, and he doesn't use any volatile vapors.
Well, this fella sounds like a dream. I just wish I knew how to contact him.
Oh, I know how. You can reach him at 314-420-5434.
314-420-5434, and his name is Joe Wolf of Wolf Power Washing?
That's right.
But how did you know his number so quickly?
I'll never tell.
Wait, what?
That's Wolf Power Washing at 314-420-5434. And make sure to tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
And we're back from break, and I am very happy to be joined by a special guest today, Teeny Tendy, as you might know her on social media. Callie Spaulding is here. Teeny Tendy in Phoenix, Arizona joins Let's Go Blues Radio, because that makes all the sense in the world. Teeny Tendy, thank you very much for joining the show today.
I'm so excited, long-time listener, first-time caller.
I figured, yeah. I think you were actually our original listener, so there you go.
But yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, conflict is no longer a thing because we don't have the Coyotes anymore, so we're good here.
That is unfortunate, because I actually do know, and I know that the joke is I know the Coyotes fan, but It's like, I actually do know a lot of Coyotes fans down in that area, and it's very upsetting they lost their team. But now that you're down there, you've lived in Dallas, you've lived in California, where there's hockey everywhere. What's it like now, like literally being in not just a desert, but a hockey desert?
Let's be fully truthful on all of this, that I only move to places that have hockey rinks. And I've been trying to move places since being in San Diego that actually have NHL hockey. So for me, it was devastating that I moved here and then the Coyotes leave. At least I got to see them a couple times in the really small rink, which was kind of fun. But I was expecting to have at least some hockey here, but the community here is giant. I had no idea. Some of these kids have been playing since, before the Coyotes were here. And, because the Coyotes only got here in 96?
Sounds right.
So it's just been really cool to see. You picture desert and even when I was in Dallas, you just picture desert and hotter climates. And you're there's not going to be hockey there. Nobody cares about it. The surrounding city doesn't care, but the hockey community really was devastated when the Coyotes left. But we're all just continuing on. I'm on 3 different teams now. It's kind of nice because when I was in San Diego, we only had 3 rinks. So you don't have many options, where now I have tons of options. We have, the over a certain age, we have, we have the nighttime, kids that are only playing at midnight on a Saturday. And, we have women's leagues and we have queer leagues. It's just kind of nice to have the full thing in a city where you weren't expecting to have any hockey. And I've made some friends with some people down in Tucson that when the Roadrunners shut down, they don't have any ice at all. So they actually drive the 2 hours to Phoenix to play hockey during the summer. So, the passion for hockey is definitely here. It's just crazy because we're in the middle of the heat.
Yeah, no. I've actually never been to Phoenix, but I actually did live in Dallas myself for a very short period. And seeing the love for hockey from, it's a large fan base. People say, people in Canada make jokes all the time, what do they know about hockey in Dallas or Arizona? And when I went to a preseason game, and it was everybody in the upper bowl was having a good time. And I'm this is preseason. What are all you Stars fans doing here? So it's just, it's really interesting to see. And it's obviously you go to a game in Winnipeg, it's so different from going to a game in Arizona. Well, like you mentioned, the smaller rink especially. It's just really just an interesting atmosphere to be in a southern state, southern city, and go see a hockey game.
Yeah, and as especially Phoenix and Dallas, you're talking about places that hit over 100 degrees, and we're still playing hockey in the dead of it. It's pretty crazy. And obviously I've experienced some new stuff being in Phoenix, because it is wild, because you will literally go from 110 into the rink that's 37 or whatever, and then the locker rooms are not AC'd, because why would you? And so you're just sweating, for lack of a better terms, your balls off, right? In the locker room, and then you just can't wait to get out onto the ice, and then you're just laying on the ice because you're I just want to cool down because the locker rooms are in the 90s.
Oh yeah, we had a situation where it was a very hot day. It was like 102, and we had a summer league game, and we went into the arena, and it's the old Blues practice facility, and they don't practice there anymore. It's like they do clinics every now and then, but other than that, it is not a used rink at all. So we went in, and they had just turned the AC on, and it was I don't know if you ever seen any of the photos from the 1970s fog game. That's what it looked like. Like there was fog coming up from the ice that you couldn't see through the glass, and we're all walking in like, oh boy. And I mean, literally, you're skating over the puck, you can't see it, you're stepping on it, you're falling, and it's just madness. By the third period, it was fine, but it was like first two periods. I mean, I felt worse for the goalies because I'm like, you can't see anything, not just the puck. You can't even see this defenseman in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, the first Gulls game that when the Gulls came back to San Diego, we had that problem where like they just hadn't planned for it being hot. And like, so they had all the players get out on the ice and like do a bunch of circles to like try to like get rid of all of this fog. And it's just like, it's crazy that you already know that coming into a rink like so we're all going to have the first 5 minutes of just skating around to make sure that the fog is gone.
So actually, wanted to ask you because you mentioned the heat. You know, we're playing in the heat, and so I play roller hockey, which is a big thing here in St. Louis, and still, you know, from the '90s because we're living in the past apparently. But I did go down to Dallas, and I asked everybody that I knew in Dallas, like, I need to join a team. Where do I go? The only team I could find that needed someone was a roller hockey team. So I played roller hockey in Dallas, and my Lord, 105 degrees outside. You're getting changed. You're at least with ice, like you said, it's like you step out on the ice and you're like, oh, all right, this is fine. I can deal with this. There's none of that in roller hockey. So have you ever played roller hockey in the desert before?
I have not. I gave it a shot. I just am not meant for roller. But like you said, like the first place that I actually tried it was in Dallas. And luckily they have a rink that is AC'd and all that stuff, but it's very hard to get on. And like, so I would always like, I was asked to do an Ironman tournament and I was like, absolutely not. Cause it was outside and it was during the summer. And I was like, I've never done this for one. And for two, an Ironman means that we're going to be out here all day.
Yep. No, thank you.
Just sweating. And I don't do well with the humidity. Like I am not great at it. Like it is like wearing a wet blanket. And I know that everybody's like dry heat, wet heat, it's all different, but it really is.
Yeah. Oh,
but
it is.
No, roller is crazy. I don't know what it is about my whole like fear factor, but the whole like hitting asphalt or hitting even like that plexiglassy, I don't even know what you call it, is horrifying, which is super crazy because I did do roller derby. So like, I don't know. Something in my brain finally shut off and was like, we're not doing that anymore. So
I don't blame you a bit. I always tell the roller goalies I play with, I'm like, I will never understand anyone who wants to play roller goalie. It makes no sense to me because it's like in ice, you can slide, you know, you're post to post. In roller, it's literally like stepping. And it's, how is that comfortable to try and do that? So yeah, I'm with you. I get it. Never play roller goalie.
Well, I did hear somebody was telling me that they have like wheels with bearings on them so that you can like put them on the bottom side of your pad so you can get the butterfly effect in roller, but they're like, but it's kind of lame. And I was like, well, you don't want to be the lame kid out there either.
Yeah. I believe they're called roller flies. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Yeah. No. And most guys I know do play with them, but it's like, okay, real quick, funny story. We had we rented out a rink and let a bunch of the roller guys I know skate on ice for the first time. So we had a guy show up in his roller goalie pads and he had the roller flies on there. And I'm like, dude, do you have another set of leg pads? And he's like, why? And I'm like, you're not going to want to slide on ice with those. He literally went to slide across and he slid into the corner. He couldn't stop. He's like, oh, and I'm like, yep, told you don't want to play ice with roller flies on.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah, right.
He took it to a whole new level.
He did. He really did. He really did. So again, you said San Diego is where, and how long have you been playing hockey now?
Let's say 4 years just to make it even.
Oh, wow. Okay. So not that long.
No.
So you picked it up as an adult.
Yes.
Were you always a fan growing up?
Oh yeah. So since the Sharks came into town, 91. I've been a fan. My whole family's from Northern California, so when we got them, it was just rad. And then, they had really good colors. So as a kid, I was like, it's awesome. But like getting to go to games and like getting to see stuff like that. And then I grew up in Lake Tahoe, so we had the Reno Renegades, which was one of the things that we would go to all the time. And like, so hockey's been there. I just had other pressing sports when I was a kid that took over. And my parents were like, you only get one expensive sport. So
yep.
I chose snowboarding.
Snowboarding. There you go. That's a sport. Yeah, same here. It was, you get to do one sport. And then after that one sport for me, again, it was, well, ice hockey's pretty expensive. You want to do roller hockey? And I'm like, as long as I'm playing hockey, fine. I'll deal with it.
I'm good with that.
But no, so you've been around hockey for a while. So I see you mostly in Stars gear, and I think that's because you just moved to Arizona, I think, within the last year. So
yeah.
Where is your team allegiance? Are you mostly still a Sharks fan?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm tattooed with the Sharks, so it's unless they move and I have to like get it covered up.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Shout out. You just don't know anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
I was sure the Coyotes were going to stay.
The NHL fought tooth and nail to keep them there. So I thought the same thing, but clearly things change. Shout out to our friends Teal Town USA. They are a Sharks podcast that we love and are good friends with. So I know they'll love that we have you on. There are two players, by the way, that are hated here in St. Louis. Joe Thornton and Jamie Benn, and they are two of my favorite players. Blues fans hate me for it, but I've always loved those two. So, is there someone on the Blues that most people tell you to hate that maybe you don't hate so much?
See, I'm just all about players being players. Like, I don't really care. I mean, obviously, there's the rivalries that we hate, obviously. Like, so, like, anybody on the Kings can just suck it. But, but, like, for me, it's all about the goaltending. And it's so funny because people laugh at me all the time because when I go to games that aren't, like, a team that I care about, like, I'm always sitting right behind the goalie and I just want to see the goalies play. So, like, for me, like, it's just about good goaltending, and it really doesn't matter. And, like, it sucks when you're not on my team because we haven't had good goaltending for a little bit, and every time we do, we get rid of them. Hill. But, what can you do?
That was rough. I felt for Sharks fans. Aiden Hill, we don't need him. We'll trade him for a draft pick, and he goes on and wins the Stanley Cup.
Well, we knew it. They were just like, but we can get something for him right now. And it's like, That's not how this works.
Yep, I agree. So one of the jerseys I've seen you post with a lot is Tommy Wingels, which is an interesting pick. And, hey, I'm all for the fourth line, third line grinders. I've got for Blues fans, Ryan Johnson from the early 2000s jersey. I wear that and people are like, who the hell is Johnson? And I'm just like, trust me, he played here. It's not a custom jersey. So what other jerseys do you have? And I have to ask, why Tommy Wingels?
Let's just say that I mean, not that he's dead or anything, but he was just, he had a lot of heart. And, like, for me, it was just, like, I just appreciate somebody that goes out and just digs. And, like, he would. Like, his work ethic, too, was incredible. And, like, because of my fitness, because of my profession, I like the hustle that these players have on and off the ice. So, like, his, like, workout routine and meal regimen was just, like, he was planning to be the best. And it's, like, he might not have been anywhere close to, Thornton level or Jamie Benn level, but he he grinded, and for me, like, that means a lot more. And being a smaller guy, I don't know, I always have a love for the underdog.
Wait, you're telling me Teeny Tendy likes the small players? That's shocking.
I know. It's really funny because every time I talk about stuff, like, because, like, the whole 6 foot thing is in right now, and I'm like, do you have any, like, 5'5" guys? Because that would really make my whole day better.
Grant Fiore, you got to find all of his old pads. You'd be happy with that.
I do have a lot of random players. Like, I really liked Chloe, and when he finally did the thing that he didn't do was, I don't know, it made it even cooler that he stuck his stick out on the ice and pissed off all the Kings fans. So I used to wear that to all the Kings games just because they get so mad.
Oh, yeah.
I have, like, a Kennedy jersey. I have, oh my gosh. Obviously, I have a lot of, like, goalie jerseys. I got myself an Otter jersey. We won't talk about it.
No,
wear the green all the time.
I love Jake Ottinger. Like, he is one of my favorite goalies to watch. And again, Blues fans get mad at me, but I'm like, you can't deny good goaltending.
Yeah, I have a Noemi jersey. I have a Nabs jersey. I have pretty much all of the Sharks goalies that I could find.
Nice. Steve Shields, you got one of those?
Yeah, I got a Hill jersey, so, I mean, it just is what it is.
Yep. That's
it
awesome.
It seems like every time I got a jersey, though, they would leave. So, like, I kind of, like, dwindled down, like, getting, like, player jerseys and just would get, like, the actual jersey with no customization on it. Because I was like, I just don't want you to leave.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I same here. There was a period where my friends were like, dude, you need to start getting jerseys of players you hate because then they'll leave after you get their jersey. And I'm like, it's a good plan, actually. That does sound about right. So maybe that's something we need to start doing.
I mean, it's better than what I have been doing. So,
so let's talk a little bit about, your posts that you make on social media. Again, Teeny Tendy on Instagram and TikTok, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I've noticed about you, and it's almost every post, your hair is always different.
Yeah.
So how often do you change your hair?
Pretty frequently. I got a new job, so it's been kind of like boring lately. But normally about every 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. 6 to 8 weeks. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's hair, right? Like, I work with some patients that are clients/patients that have been through chemo. So just having new hair and new wigs has always been kind of a terrifying thing for a lot of people. And so my way of embracing it and just showing people that it's just hair and you can change it has been kind of that. And then I met Bender, and she had the same idea that she just liked to make her hair different. So we kind of like clicked in that matter too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, and I love it. I'm there was one you had with I think it was like silver streaks.
Yeah.
I thought that looked awesome. I'm like, man, that looks. And do you go to get it And I know I'm silly, a grown man asking a woman about her hair, but it's interesting to me. Do you go get it professionally done, or do you do it yourself?
No, of course I get it professionally done. Like, a lot of people can do it themselves, but I really want to keep the sanctity of my hair. So yeah, I get it professionally done, and my hairdresser is always like, "What are we doing now?"
Yeah, what is it today?
Sorry, stylist. They're a stylist, not a dresser anymore.
That's true. So one thing I've also noticed about you, and anyone who follows you would notice, you are pretty tatted.
Yeah.
How many tattoos do you have, and what is your favorite?
My best go-to is that I have too many to be one, but not enough to be like fully suited.
Yeah.
I think total as like pieces, I have 7 altogether. But then, like, each one, like, I have both arms done, both rib cages done, my feet, a couple on my back, and then, like, I have my garter belt that everybody talks about. Because, like, it's controversial. I didn't know it was a sexual thing.
The garter belt? Really? I didn't know that either.
I grew up in the days of like spaghetti westerns were very much a thing, and like I just loved it, and I just thought it was so cool that, you know, because women couldn't wear pants back then, you would wear a dress and have a garter belt and have a gun, and like I was like, I'm just gonna have a gun, and but like I'm not super tough, so I got a squirt gun. I would say that that's probably one of my favorites, but I would have to say that my Sharks tattoo, because it is also a memorial to my mother, is probably my favorite.
That so I myself am also tatted. And yeah, same thing. I got a Blues tattoo back here, and people are like, "Oh, it's because you're a Blues fan." I'm like, "No, it's actually an homage to my dad, who I all of this behind me and this show all exists because of my father. He is somebody that you know brought me to games. When I told him I wanted to play, he literally jumped out of his chair and was like, "Let's go to the store right now." Like, he was so excited to finally have, because I was his fourth kid, to have somebody who actually wanted to play hockey. So, yeah, same here. I love it. And I actually wanted to ask you about that. One of my favorite posts that you've made. So you've made a lot of risque posts and a lot of like fun goalie posts. But one of my favorites is the one that you made for your dad last year. You made a post about when you were a kid, like those pictures of you as a kid with your dad. And again, I always say one of my favorite things about hockey players is how much we appreciate our parents. And I know that you've only started playing in the last 4 years, but you know, you've heard the stories of parents driving their kids to the rink at 4 a.m., you know, picking them up from practice after work, like that kind of stuff, and the commitment that it takes. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask you, like, you know, I know your parents are probably in California. Have they been out to see you play, and how supportive are they of you playing hockey as an adult?
I mean, my parents have been my biggest cheerleaders. Like you said, like, obviously I had a different setup, but like, you know, I was on the mountain at 6 a.m. every day, and like picking me up from that. I mean, it got to a point of where we lived close enough to a mountain that my dad was like, at 12, he's like, I'm going to teach you how to drive just so that you can take yourself every once in a while if you have to.
Nice.
And then when I got old enough, like one of my best friends who was a hockey player, his dad was a sheriff. So he taught us how to drive in the snow and like took us out to like, you know, the high school parking lot and taught us how to like, if you do get into a skid, like what to do at 15. So like we've always had really supportive parents, but my parents, oh man, I hate to say that like they're my best friends, but they totally are. And with both of them having cancer and both of them having to go through stuff, it's been a journey. And like, I know that I kind of took a step back from social media and everybody kind of asked why. And like, that was why. My family is everything. And like, my dad just got diagnosed with cancer. And it was just like, I just knew that me being there and visiting them was the most important thing that I could do. So, that's what I've been doing, is like back and forth. But yeah, he has been super supportive of everything that I do. He's still a little hesitant and make sure that I have insurance just because, you know, hockey is very expensive, but injuries are also very expensive.
Yep. No, that's amazing. I unfortunately lost my father to leukemia in 2015, and you know, and like, it's funny because like the urn we got him, it's got a Blues logo on it. It's got hockey sticks on it. And, you know, of course we all joked, like, cause he died in 2015. We're like, of course the Blues waited 4 years later to win their damn first Stanley Cup. So hopefully your parents as hockey fans will see, I guess they're Sharks fans. Hopefully we'll see the Sharks win one. They're starting to get back into not complete suck mode. So hopefully we'll see that.
Nice of you.
I'm looking at the positive side. You got Celebrini.
We've been rebuilding for like 6 years. It's fine.
Yep, you'll get there eventually. But no, I think that's awesome. And you know, obviously best wishes to you and your parents. That's hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever gone through. So, you know, either way, you'll come out with a positive outlook on it, and everything's going to be great. So, I have to ask you then, talking about your parents, you mentioned they're your biggest supporters. What do your parents think of your social medias?
They don't know much.
All right, tell him not to watch this episode.
He sees the PG stuff. He's not much for Instagram or Facebook, so I don't get a lot of that. I mean, that's the beauty of it, is that I do love my dad. So like, I do try to do things that like, I would be like, if he saw it or if his friend saw it, how would it affect us as a family? So, I mean, as unfortunate as it is being a social media marketing, that was some of my schooling. Sex sells. So, but the beauty of this whole world is that like you get to express yourself however you want, and it's just like I do things that I would find like respectable. So like, yeah, like there's gonna be some stuff that's a little bit more flirtatious, and like, but I'm just proud of all the work I've put in. I had a lot of body dysmorphia, and I had a lot of self-confidence issues and stuff like that. So to put it all online and like not let people get to you, and like just own that, like, you know, I put a lot of hard work into my body and I treat it really well. And like, I'm also older than a lot of these girls that it's just like, it felt good to me to like do this. And I mean, I definitely don't do anything that I feel like my dad would be like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And like all of the people that do, you know, the more risque stuff, I fully give them my full support. It's just not what I was meant to do. And I also have a government contract, so I have to keep stuff a little bit more PC too, just because I like working with military veterans and active military, and it's something that I'm really passionate about because I did come from a military family. So I try to keep it as PG, but like, you know, pinups have been a thing since, you know, World War II. Like, it's been a big thing. It's just, it's something that gets people's interest, but also like, you don't always have to be super sexual. And I think that that's where me and Bender kind of bring it together, is that we do kind of bring the humor to it too, that like we can laugh at ourselves, and we know that we are, I mean, we both have put it on there that we are completely benders at best. We're rookie players.
Yeah, hey, I've been playing my whole life and I'm a bender, so no, and I'll say, I'll be completely honest with you, that is one thing I said about you when I was telling some friends that you were coming on. One of my friends was like, I'm not on Insta, who is that? And I showed him some pictures, and I said, I go, honestly, you know what I like about her is that she's classy. Like, the pictures you're doing, they're, to me, like kind of artistic, and they're fun hockey pictures. Like, there's one I know with you holding your goalie stick behind your back, and it's a cool looking shot. And I'm like, these aren't like, yes, obviously there's some sexualization to it, but I'm like, these are really interesting, cool pictures that, like you said, I think of the pinups. Like, you know, I think about myself as a 14-year-old. That's something I'd be having hanging up on my wall, is like, look at this cool chick wearing, you know, hockey gear in a kind of sexualized but cool way. So I'm all for it. I think it's really cool and an interesting take on hockey.
And I think that since then, I mean, not that I'm saying that this person did it, but, you know, there's been a recent, like, you know, singer-songwriter, you know, person that posted herself in pads on for her like cover photo, and I'm like, it's just kind of interesting that that's come along now. But I mean, it's cool that we're embracing it and that we're making it so that it is. I mean, the most stuff that we see is Ice Girls, and it's like, it's cool to see. Like, obviously I've done some, you know, risque stuff, but I also have had a lot of girls reach out to me and be like, you're one of the reasons that I started playing hockey. And I have little girls that are trying to do it too. And I'm not ashamed of what I've done, just because I am a graphic design major, and I mean, like, it's art to me too. Like, it's also like, I worked really hard on this body, and like, you should be proud of what you're doing. And like, you know, nobody gets to see what I've worked on underneath all my pads. Like, everybody thinks like you're a 200-pound person, but you know, it's all for fun. But like, I mean, I think Bender and I would both say that we have had a lot of people reach out to us and just be like, you've made it more fun and you've made it so that we feel included. Do we get all the positive? No, but like, it's also like you're putting yourself out there. You're expecting to get some of the negative, but I think it's a way of also like helping yourself, like know that like it's okay to be you. And like, if you're proud of something, be proud of it. And like, I have had, a bunch of guys be like, but if you weren't a cute girl, you wouldn't get all this stuff. And it's like, we don't get a lot of free stuff. I think it's funny that everybody just thinks that it's paying our bills and stuff. And it's like, no, I get a couple likes, but like, I still have to go pay my league dues and whatnot. So
yeah. I got a like from Bauer. What is that worth?
Yeah. I mean, I have like clothing that I like, and like, but like, it's not like we're getting like free tickets to go see players, and like, it's not like we're getting like any. I mean, I think that there is that opportunity out there for people, but it's also like, how much are you willing to put in? And like, for me, this is not a full-time job. And I think that's one of the things that I fully commend anybody that wants to do influencing or content creating, because it is a job. Like, everybody's like, how do you do it? And it's like, literally, I go and I take photos. Normally, I do it by myself. I have a tripod. I set it up. I do all this stuff just because I am a little insecure. And then one of my best friends, he was doing it for me, and he happened to move to Dallas, so we were continuing to do it. But now, since I've moved, I don't have him anymore. But like, it was like, literally, I plan like 2 days out of the month, get photos done, and then I just plan this, schedule it, and like, I don't ever think about it again. Like, everybody's like, you don't just spend your whole time, and it's like, no, like, but for me, social media isn't good for my psyche. So like, I have to like limit the time that I spend on it. And then like, I don't want to look at like, oh my gosh, this post only got 700 likes and this one got 1,000 likes. And I know that Instagram's trying to take that away, and so is TikTok, like how much you're actually seeing it, because it has been affecting people. But like, for me, like, everybody's like, I can't believe you're not glued to your phone all the time. And like, anytime anybody meets me, they're like, oh yeah, but you're always on social media. And it's like, no, like, I literally plan a day out of the month and just do it.
Yeah. No, and hey, I commend you for basically admitting, like, I don't want to do the social media influencing. I just do this because I enjoy it. And because a lot of people, I think, and it's actually kind of similar to the podcast world in the sense of like, we could sign on with a podcast company, but then we're getting people telling us, you got to have this sponsor on, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it's like, we like the freedom of just being able to like, come on, talk hockey, have cool guests on, and boom, recorded for a week, done. And that's what we do on this show. And it sounds like that's similar to the way you like it too. Like, yeah, I could probably go and make some money and make this part of more of a part-time job, but I like to do it just for the freedom. So I'm with you on that. I hear you. So I wanted to ask about, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and ask you this question too, because we mentioned her, Bender. I was trying to pull up her social media account because I wanted to make sure to promote her too, but it looks like, is her Instagram gone? Did she change her name? Okay.
I mean, really, for both of us, it was we built them in COVID, and it was one thing that we were in a COVID bubble together, and like, we were both, because she's in the service industry and I'm in, the fitness industry, health industry. We both didn't have jobs to go to, so we had a lot of time. And once you get back to normal life, it just becomes so hard. Like, it's when you're working even a 5-hour day, and like the last thing you want to do is go get dressed up and like go take photos or go take videos or like make it a big thing. So like, yeah, she stepped back, I want to say a little, like 6 months before I did. And then she's just been doing her own thing. And like, she's like, we're still both playing hockey and we still see each other and it's great. But like, for her, it was just like, it was a strain. And, being that it is, mental health awareness times, she has big anxiety, and it was another thing that it was just like, it was one way of her getting out of the anxiety part, and just like, because she never wanted to be the center of attention. So like, it was one way that we got to express ourselves and like actually be these bigger than life characters. And it's like, it was kind of nice to not be just your normal self and like realize how powerful you can actually be. And then like, you know, it's time consuming. I don't think anybody realizes how time consuming it is to do a 2-minute video or like a 30-second video. Like, we would plan it and like do these videos and like, but like, you have to get all dressed up and then you have to get all dressed down and like, whew.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So we did so actually this summer, my co-host Bill, part of our what we've done this summer is he hasn't played hockey in 20 years, and he got back on the ice this summer as a goalie. He used to play for a really prestigious school here, and then he stopped playing, and now he's back. He's playing again, so we've been documenting it, and it's kind of funny because like one thing we did was we rented ice and we invited some friends of mine and some of our sponsors to come out, get on skates, take shots on them, have a fun time. It was literally the next morning, and I got a message, hey, when's all that footage going to be up? And I'm like, a month and a half from now? Because I'm like, I don't think you realize how much footage we took. Like, if you want something specific, let me know. I'll send it to you. Well, no, you should like put a show out next week. And I'm like, that's not how this works. There is so much work that goes into this. Like, it's not just you shoot it and you're done. Like you said, that we'll make a 3-minute reel and it takes me 45 minutes to an hour to do it.
Yeah. Same with like doing podcast stuff. There was a couple that like when I was doing the podcast consistently that like we would have like 4-hour conversations and trying to cut that down into an hour long that made sense, that like, you know, because like you go into rambly stuff, but it's just like, it's crazy that people just assume that this is just we're one cut and we're done. Like, that's not how this goes.
No. So one thing that you have done on your photos, in again the more riskier ones, Tarp Off Tuesday.
Yeah,
I've seen you do that, and I'm not sure if that's an actual thing. Did you come up with that, or was that borrowed?
No, that was 100% Letterkenny. The boys would say it, and we were just like, "Oh, that's awesome!" So
Tarp Off Tuesday, of course. Oh, my co-hosts are going to yell at me for not recognizing that. Of course.
I mean, it's just the acronyms. You know, people love the acronyms. So when they were talking about being Tarp Off Boys, like it just kind of turned into like Tarp Off Tuesdays.
Nice. And are those your most engaged content, or is it like
I feel
the
like
actual
it was
hockey videos?
People looked forward to more than Taco Tuesdays for sure.
Yeah, Taco Tuesdays are fun too, for sure. The S is silent. Sorry, that's a Lego movie reference. So I do think it's amazing that, you know, so many people just look at people like you on social media and they say like, oh, she's just a girl that wants to take her shirt off and take pictures. But to know that, it's a confidence thing with your body dysmorphia, with your friends' anxiety, like, to me, that's what's super interesting. And I think it's commendable and courageous, honestly, to be able to do something like that. But of course, it's going to come with the creeps. Let's be honest. We all know it. So I do have to ask, how often are you bothered by guys asking for maybe exclusive pics or why you're not on OnlyFans? How often does that happen?
I mean, I think I get that at least once a week, even now, like that I've dwindled it. I mean, you're going to have people that want exclusivity to you because that's kind of the world that we've turned into. And for me, it's just like, that will always be for my significant other. So like, I was never going to go that route. And like I said, like, I completely commend people that can do it, but like, I never want anybody to have that exclusivity to me. And like the people that I have talked to that do it, like, it's a full-time job too. Like, you're pretty much like juggling, other significant others because they're paying for your time. So, I mean, it's a job, obviously. Luckily, I have never had it be too bad. The dick pics have been a thing, but you learn what's going to happen, and you just kind of learn to block those. You kind of know the people, but there's certain people that just feel like because of what you do that you just are expecting, like, that you want this stuff. So like, I think that's been the hardest one, is the ones that give you backlash. That's like, oh, you never messaged me back, and it's like, I never saw your message. Like, and then it was just like, but luckily there hasn't been any death threats or anything like that, or anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just been like, yeah, okay.
I hate,
or like you get one and you're like, I'm gonna send this to my friends because that's funny, especially because like they have like, I don't know how to put it, but like they'll do it in like locker rooms or something where like it has very like specific, like, where it is, that you could just be like, hey, this person's doing some inappropriate stuff in your locker room. Maybe you should not let them skate there anymore. But like, I haven't done any of that stuff, but I'm just like, at least if you're going to send dick pics, like, make it so that nobody knows where you are.
Yeah.
Or your employer is, just so we're aware. I'm just
and
putting
time
it out
of day
there
is
for the creeps. So
time of day is
just for your own
important too.
safety.
Time of day is important too. If you're a lawyer and it's like 1:00 on a Tuesday, you're probably working. So it's like, don't send a dick pic at that time. Quick PSA from me, and this is for all the guys out there. No one wants a dick pic. Nobody wants a dick pic. Don't send them. I don't understand that one bit. I've never done it in my life. I never will. I don't want to say anything. I know somebody who sent it, and he's like, yeah, I think she'll like that. No, she won't. She will never like it. Don't send them. They're not attractive. No,
let's be honest. Unless a girl asks, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I know that for some people it's a kink thing, and I am not going to kink shame anybody. You do
No,
you.
Of course not.
But yeah, boys, it's not pretty. It's not cute. Like, I know that, believe me, I've seen enough women's bodies to understand how beautiful they are, and like that you want one in return, but you can just ask. Girls will do it normally if you're talking, for having a good conversation. Yeah.
Agree. Unsolicited dick pics.
Don't just
never
randomly just think that it's just going to turn us on. Normally we're going to laugh, show it to our friends, and then delete it.
So I have a friend that,
or like for me, I just block it because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Because it's also a beautiful feature that Instagram does. They blur it, and they're like, it might not be, it might not be safe. So luckily, Instagram has saved me from a lot of uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've got a friend who she's kind of regionally famous, and she says all the time, she's like, the amount of those pics that I get, she's like, not once am I ever like, oh, nice, I get to see this. Like, I never want it, but for some reason, guys think that's what I want. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Just comes the territory of being a semi-famous woman, I guess.
I mean, it's just funny. It's just like it's in movies as jokes that nobody wants to see it. Like, I don't think there's ever, even if you have the most pretty penis of anybody on the planet, I don't think anybody's really going to believe you because they're not expecting. Here, let's just call it what it is. Women are not visual, so keep that in mind.
That is true. That is 100. My wife tells me the same thing. I don't need to see anything. It's completely different for women. And I'm
women need to hear it. So like, if you mentally stimulate our brains, and even if you like talk about it, way better. You can be like, oh my gosh, your photos are so hot. I've never had the most like, giant erection, and maybe that might be better.
Callie, you're opening up a real Pandora's box here. You're going to start getting audio messages now.
I'm just trying to say, leave it to the imagination for girls, okay?
Of course. All right. Well, the uneasy transition from dick pics to I told you earlier I wanted to play a game with you to end our interview here. I've got a fun one, I think. I came up with one especially for you because I know you're a beers in the parking lot person like me. And so I'm sure you've played the game Never Have I Ever, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do Never Have I Ever Beer League edition, okay? Do you have something? It doesn't have to be a cup, but do you have something you can hold up and act like you're going to drink?
I'm being so basic with my Starbucks cup. That's really embarrassing.
I'm a huge nerd. I've got a Mandalorian cup, so
This might be a little better.
There you go. All right, that'll work. All right, so we're gonna play Never Have I Ever Beer League Edition. So basically, for those who've never played Never Have I Ever, I will say something, and then both you and I are gonna play. And we are going to either, if we hold up our drink, that means that we have done the thing. And if we don't hold up our drink, that means we never have. So here we go. First one. Never have I ever forgotten my skates or other vital equipment and got all the way to the locker room before realizing. Yep. Same here. I forgot my skates a couple weeks ago for the first time. I walk into the locker room. I've already got my shin guards on, and I'm like, I don't have my skates. Son of a bitch. What about you?
It's been like random stuff, but more recently I went to skate out and I didn't have elbow pads. So I had to go to the Lost and Found and get some kid ones. It was really fun. And then I've had it where I forgot my helmet and like had to go to the, like, ask them if they had, like, luckily, like, one time a kid forgot his goalie helmet and like I had to use it, but it was so gross. It was so smelly. I don't know if you know this, but like head sweat is probably one of the worst.
Oh yeah. I've had that happen too, where I've had to borrow a helmet because mine actually was cracked. And so I had to borrow my friend's helmet. I put it on and just instantly you just feel so disgusting. And I'm like, I'll admit, and this is going to sound disgusting, I think I'd rather wear another dude's jock than wear his helmet. It's awful.
You can put clothes underneath that.
Right, exactly. Yep. All right. All right. So never have I ever put a stick on the puck and put it in my own net. So not off you and in the net, but literally swipe the puck into your own net. Yep, me too. I was a battle in front. I got turned around and I went to slap the puck, put it right in front of the net, and went right in. Goalie was like, "What the hell, man?" What about you?
It was pretty much like that. I was going to get it and just like pulled back and like I scored myself more often than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, we call it the ponder here. Whenever you put the puck in your own net. All right. Never have I ever gotten a primary assist on a goal. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sorry. I mean, I'm a defenseman. I have to have had at least one in my life. Never have I ever, and I can't participate in this one, attempted a goalie goal.
Oh, gosh. All the time.
Yeah.
Never landed it.
You come pretty close?
Couple times.
That's good.
But it's normally on empty nets.
Well, yeah, of course. All right. How about, and again, I can't participate in this one. Never have I ever done a 2-pad stack in an actual game. No? Oh, that's unfortunate.
I'm too little. It would take me so much time to get back out of that. And this way I don't have much, like my legs are, I'm a 26-inch seam. So like my legs aren't very long to like help me get any more like length.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to like do a Superman to be able to take up enough net.
Yeah, it would just be bad. And then I'm smaller this way too, so they could just get it up over me real easy. Like
Very true. Good point. All right. Let's see. Never have I ever gotten thrown out of a game.
Oh, no. I'm very much a lover, not a fighter.
Good. You're better than me. All right. Never have I ever called a male opponent a name that would make any other woman blush. Oh, God. Mm-hmm. I have to ask, come on, what's one of the worst things you've said to someone?
I really, really, really love twat waffle. So that gets thrown out there so often. And then I'm one of those girls that thinks that the C word is so funny that I use it a lot. And like, if you call somebody angry C, it's just kind of funny.
Yes. So my quick side note, my boss is British, and so he throws that word out all the time.
They
and
love it.
I'm like, dude, like you need to watch what you say in front of American women, man.
I use a bunting all the time. A bunting C, just because I love the way that it just like.
Yes. Very nice. Yeah. I will say twat waffle's a good one. That's that is also one of my favorites.
I see it so much that like I do sign language that I learned that one of my teachers taught me it in sign language too, just because they're like, you need to knock it off.
That's hilarious. All right. Never have I ever played against a current or former NHL player. I've played against a couple I've mentioned on the show, but a lot of St. Louis guys. How about you? Who've you played against?
Demko used to play in San Diego all the time. So there's been a couple of times that like it wasn't actually like play, but like we were on the same ice doing like scrimmages, and it was. I mean, I remember just him coming on and being like, "This dude is fucking huge."
Yeah, he's a monster. That's awesome. One of my favorite stories I know I've turned on the show was when I was in Dallas. I was at just a random like Sunday morning, Saturday morning skate, and this old dude's out there, and he's got these giant shin guards, and he looks like beat up as hell. I'm like, this dude looks like he just walked in out of his cardboard box, and he comes in and he is just skating circles around everybody. And I finally get back to the bench. I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm like, who the fuck does this old guy think he is? And the guy next to me goes, well, that's Grant Ledyard. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, that's Grant Ledyard, dude. Dallas Stars, 1999. He's like, he's in town for some alumni game, and apparently he still plays all the time up in Canada. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like, God, this dude's like 60, and he's making me look like I've never skated before.
That was kind of the beauty in Dallas is like you do get a lot of them that come out and like, you know, former players that just live there randomly. But like I would see a lot of people, like, especially if you go to like the different times, like I would go at like noon or whatever, and you would see a lot of them like just because they like to skate and like do it, and you're like, all right.
Yeah. I was walking into a rink and walking out with a bunch of his equipment was Mike Modano. And I was like, huh. I like stopped. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, playing hockey, same as you. And I'm like, that makes sense. Never have I ever played at an NHL arena, whether practice facility or home arena. Yeah. What's the best one you've ever played at?
Oh man. I mean, obviously the Stars is just phenomenal, but for me, my team plays at the Mullet where the Coyotes were playing, and like there's just something about like that college arena that just makes it so much fun. And I know that it's not a real NHL.
It is. It counts.
For me it was, and it was cool, and I don't know, it's cool to see the lights and have the intimacy, and like even the college players that play on it, it's just really should be said about Fear the Fork.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I have two regrets in terms of NHL, not seeing a game at Mullet and not seeing a game at Joe Louis Arena. Mullet would have been so cool. And we kept saying we were going to travel down. We're like, oh, we got a couple years. And then obviously that changed. So unfortunate, but at least you get to play there. That sounds awesome. Yeah, so for me, I think the best rink I've played at Enterprise where the Blues play is great. The arena in Fresno for the Stars, their practice facility was incredible. I played there. But yeah, I would say, and then you played in Lake Tahoe, right? Recently?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Was it the same spot that the NHL played it there?
No, they get rid of those, but like, you know, we have an ice rink up here, and then I've done like the Gulls, and I've done the Texas Stars. Like I've done all those too, like the AHL level.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty cool. All right. So how about never have I ever gotten beaten by the Michigan? No? Awesome. Well, me neither.
Not yet. So. I know it's going to happen.
It'll happen one day. You think it'll make you mad? You think you'll be impressed?
I mean, I hate getting undressed regardless of how it goes, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I've had somebody do it against my team, obviously not me as a goalie, and it is kind of frustrating in beer league because it's like, what the hell, man? Come on. What are you doing?
It's also like, what are you doing in this level? Like,
yeah, get out of here. Go play somewhere else. And then I had to ask you this because you mentioned the singer-songwriter. Her famous photo, she had her pads on backwards. So never have I ever.
Yeah, so much.
Me too, and I'm not even a goalie. So never have I ever played a game with my pads on backwards.
There's no way to. You need the knee cradle. You need it.
Yes. So again, we have our co-host Bill Day is a goalie guy. And the minute that photo came out, he sent me a message. He's like, did you see that shit? Like, he was so mad. And I'm like, do you think somebody would have caught that before they did it? Because the hockey community is going to comment on it.
Can we also talk about how short they are? Like, that's not saving anything.
Yeah. Good luck taking shots at the waist.
Mini mites. That's what.
Yeah, right. Well, Callie, this has been awesome. You've been such a fun guest. I really appreciate you coming on. I know you're in enemy territory here with the Blues podcast, but
I know.
We love all teams here, except for Detroit. Fuck the Red Wings and the Blackhawks. But no, we appreciate you coming on.
And the Ducks.
And yeah, for you, sure. Yeah. Fuck the Kings. Fuck the Ducks. But definitely awesome having you. I want to give you a chance here to promote anything you want to promote with your social media and anything else that where people can find you.
I mean, obviously, Tendy anywhere can be found. I'm finally getting back into it a little bit. I had my little sabbatical, so we're going to start back up doing some more fun stuff, just being real with my life. And then obviously I do personal training and I help those in need with that. So if you ever want to follow Coach California too, feel free. That's a little bit more PG and work appropriate.
Good. Okay, you said Coach California, all one word, and that's on what, Instagram and TikTok?
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram, okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So, give that a follow as well. Callie, again, I appreciate you coming on. Best of luck to you and your parents going forward. And, we'll have to have you on again sometime.
Yeah, and if I ever make it out there, because I do want to see the Sharks play at every arena, so hopefully we'll get to hang out then too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of cool spots that I'll make sure I take you to, and maybe we'll even hit up the ice somewhere, which would be a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Just not roller.
Right. No. That's only for the special people.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Callie.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again to Callie for joining the Teeny Tendy. Very fun talking with her. Next week, we actually have somebody we have not had on the show yet, Matthew DeFranks of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He is the Blues beat writer. Yet to have him on the show. Kind of surprising at this point with us, having Jeremy Rutherford, Andy Strickland, Lou Korak, all the names you see on social media that are always reporting the Blues news. Matthew's right there with them, and for some reason, we have not had Matthew on the show yet. So he is coming on next week, so make sure you don't miss that. And we're going to talk about the Blues' upcoming season and the moves they made this summer and where he thinks they might land in the standings at the end of the season. So definitely don't want to miss that one. Again, big thank you to Teeny Tendy for coming on. It's okay. We appreciate you coming on, even though you're a Stars fan. It's okay. We will still show love to you. And no, in all seriousness, great guest. A lot of fun. Thank you so much. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Email him at mike@strikewithmike.com today for all of your home buying and selling needs. That's Mike@strikewithmike.com. and by Wolf Power Washing, St. Louis's premier power wash company with the best rates in town. Call Joe Wolf, 314-420-5434, and get the best looking and greatest power washer in the area. That's 314-420-5434. That will do it for episode 48 of season 13 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great week, everyone. For Kirk Price and Bill Day, as well as Team Tendy, I'm Jeff Ponder, and I will talk with you next week. This was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at fourth.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.